Alright guys, welcome back, Ranquest here, bringing you episode number 6 of Building and Beyond, Skyblock Edition. So, I've gotten a little bit of work done. I'm slowly starting to chip away at what was left of this upper tower, even here. I mean, this spawn pad's going to stay here, but I had the grass blocks spiraling around, and I've decided to move or migrate the grass all the way to that side. So when I get to the point where I can have, when I get to the point where I can start having animals, I want to have grass blocks over there so that sheep can regain their wool and things like that. So yeah, here we have a melon farm, which is producing pretty well. I've got 10 different stocks, and so they go off probably every minute or so. One goes off. So I've got a stack and a half of melons, which is nice. And I've already started to collect some wheat, and the wheat is a lot slower to come than the melons are, just because, dang it, you just never know what you're going to get for seeds when you harvest them. So it's a little bit tricky to do it that way. And then I also just threw these cactus down so that I could start growing cactus, because all of this is going to add for money. And then I've got a little pumpkin guy here growing, and I've got my reeds going to start growing, and the trees are doing well. So here's a little update. I mean, I've put up some railings, and I think that's what I'm going to do for the most part in this area, so that I can, kind of run around here and not worry about falling off or anything like that. So, and then that mob farm, which isn't really a farm, but that little mob spawning station over there, I extended it a little bit. So I had it out to about probably, let's just say like right here before, and I'd get like one mob a night, and then I extended it out a little bit, so when I completed a project, I would then use whatever was left over to extend out this way. And I made a little T section here, and so I was actually going to push this off, and I've gotten pretty good rates as far as you would expect. It's not a lot of room to spawn, and a lot of times, if I'm working over here, it doesn't count towards the ticker. So you have to be over, I believe, 23 or 24 blocks away in order for mobs to spawn, and you have to be there consistently. So get another sapling there. And so my next step is to kind of mimic what I did over here, and I need to get a tree farm going. Now, again, I don't have a lot of dirt to spare. Right now I've got 8 dirt, so plus 2 that are currently right here, and so that'll get me 10 trees. So that's going to be on that side over there, and from there, once I get the tree farm rolling to the point where it's it's producing trees fairly quickly, and I've got this side fully started, then we can pretty much, a lot of it's just going to be sitting and grinding out materials, because if we look at the actual prices of, we'll just say, the different materials, like if I were to sell it to the general store, they're not very great. So you have to have a lot of them to actually make it worthwhile. And I know one of the first things that I want to buy, which in theory I think I can get eggs, I know that, but I want to start getting animal products going as quickly as possible. So for instance, I need, I believe, 5,000 or so. And actually, once I finish harvesting, we'll go take a look so we can plan it out. I want to get, because I know eggs are very easy to do, so you can do chickens. Now, the only thing that kind of limits you from going just crazy is the fact that you have animal caps. So you can only have so many of each animal in your island at one point in time. So, and that's to pretty much limit on the memory and the lag on the whole server as a whole. So yeah, so if we can get all 4 animals, at one point in time, then I think that we can do fairly well. So one other thing too. So another thing. Let's look at our goals real quick too. So our challenges challenges list. All right, so we finished number 1. Our next challenge is to produce 10 stone, and then we need to, from there, produce 1 stone button, stone pressure plates, and slabs. So in reality, we're going to have about 32 smooth stone, and I'm going to finish quite a bit of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I've got a little bit of charcoal that I started to utilize, and every once in a while I will purge my wood to get some more charcoal. I think the last time I used 32 wood to do it. We need a full. Let's cook up a whole stack. Might as well. So that'll keep cooking, and that won't cook once we actually head over to the island, or back to spawn, but might as well get that going in there anyways. And is there anything that I can sell that I want to sell? Let's take some cobble. Might as well. We'll learn how to sell and to buy and whatnot. So put the wheat away, put my charcoal away, dirt, that's important, and yeah. So that's good. So let's go back to spawn. Alright, so here we are. Very quickly. These guys. Hello, Ms. Gigi. Hi. Oh, wow. Wow, isn't that nice? Thank you very much. Just gave me smile for the camera. Alright, so Marcus H. Okay, so let's look at what we're going to need. Alright, so we've got all of our products here. If we wanted to sell back some of our melons, it's not very much, but a stack of melons is going to give us $16, which, in the short term is not terrible. Well, it's kind of bummy, but in the long term, once you get rolling, you just kind of you tend to have tons of supplies that you never really use. So I believe as long as we can keep about 3 or 4 stacks in reserve, then I think anything after that we can kind of sell, and I think that goes for the most part with any of this stuff. So if we look at that, we can get cookies. Cookies are actually very nice, but those require eggs and things like that. That's raw chicken. Raw chicken actually sells very well. It sells, you're pretty much at a 1-to-1 ratio. And then the same thing with your raw beef and pork. So we're gonna want to have we're gonna want to get those animals, and the sooner we can do that, the sooner we can make some serious money. So let's look at other. And then another thing I think in a very soon, I'm gonna want to have. I'm going to want to make some mob spawners. And if I have a way that I do mob spawners, but there's going to be a way that I'm going to make a primitive one to at least get it started, so we can sell, bones and arrows and all this stuff, because we can't really use it right now. Eventually, we're going to be able to. Do I have my own? Yes, I do. So eventually we're going to get to the point where we can sell this back. So, and I want to get there soon. So, alright. I think he may be trolling me. All right, so another thing we're gonna need dirt, and it's fairly expensive, but we're eventually gonna need all that stuff. So let's look. And then mycelium, yummy. That's expensive, 6,000. And what am I looking at? What do I want? All right, yes, mobs. So back to the eggs. All right, so we're gonna want to have at least one of each island, so we can get chickens. Which you can either get chicken egg or chicken egg, yes, well, monster egg, for 1,000, and actually, that's pretty cheap. Now that I think about it, so you need to have 2 of them. With an exception of chickens, you need to have 2 pigs and 2 cows in order to be able to have your own sustainable mob harvesting area. And then, let's see, sheep there too. So for sheep, you need 4,000. Okay. So we're going to want to, these are going to be the first things that we're going to spend our money on, because from there, once we have enough food to cover ourselves, and honestly, enough food is going to be, we can dedicate, we'll just say, cows. Cows will be our main source of food. Then if we have pigs and we have chickens, all that meat that we get from those guys, on top of the feathers and things like that, and the leather, can all just be sold, which is great. So, and then, we could, in theory, sell it to here, but there's also sell it to the spawn market, but there's also those other markets back that way that I can sell it to too. So that's the goal. So the short term, keep going with the plants, and then get a mob harvester, even if it's just a primitive one, going as quickly as possible. And then from there, what we're going to do is, once we get enough money from selling those items, we'll get some pigs and cows and sheep and chickens, and we can make money that way. And then, because if we sell wool actually sells very well. So sheep is they're extremely lucrative. So yeah, and that's that. So there's my plan, guys. I'm gonna keep working on it a little bit, and then I'll come back in with another update when I have enough to talk about for about 15 minutes. So until next time, guys, we'll see you later. Byes.
Here we go.